Good morning and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to explore area and perimeter, and we're also going to look at formulas. So in geometry, it's very important to know your basic shapes. Your basic shapes would be squares, rectangles, triangles, circles, parallelograms, and trapezoid. You need to know these very well. So we're going to use this as kind of a, a beginning of how to use formulas. First things first, let's talk about perimeter. Perimeter, by definition, is the distance around an object. Okay, so if you know every element that covers an object, that's around an object, the perimeter is essentially just adding up all the sides. Okay, and so whatever object you care about the outside, and you just add up all the sides, combine all the sides. For a circle, the perimeter is a little different. It's called a circumference, and it is we we use pi and d to calculate the circumference. So the circumference of a circle is pi times diameter, or we can also write it in terms of radius. So circumference equals 2 pi times radius. A radius goes from center of a circle to the end of a circle to the outside layer of a circle. Diameter goes from one side to another side. So radius is essentially half of a diameter. Okay, so let's do a few problems. We want to explore this, and we also want to talk about using formulas. Let's say we had a triangle like this. Okay, and let's say we're given sides. So let's say this is 4, 5, 6. And it's asking us to figure out the perimeter. And perimeter is distance around an object, so we just add it up. So 4 plus 5 plus 6, which is 9 plus 6, which equals 15 units. Okay, so how about area? Do we have enough information for this to find the area? Hopefully you said no. So the area of a triangle, whenever you work with formulas, I suggest that you write down the formula first. Area of a triangle, half base times height, and then you figure out if you have all the information that you need. So we have a base. This will be considered our base compared to, this is the B in this picture. So we have our base, but we don't have a height. So let me give you a height. Let's call this 4.5. Okay, so now we have every element to find area. And you just plug in. Instead of P, you're going to plug in 6, because 6 represents the base. Instead of height, you're going to plug in 4.5. Half of 6 is 3 times 4.5. Okay, you should by now know how to multiply fractions. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. There's only one decimal place, so 13.5. Units squared. Here is a question. Why is area units squared and perimeter units? Something to think about. Okay, let's do a circle one. So let's say you have this circle, and let's say they give you a diameter. Let's say the diameter is 8. Let's say they give you an area. Let's say they give you an area of 24, and they want you to find the radius. Always when you're working with formulas, start out with the formula. So area of a circle is pi times radius squared. We are going to use 3. Let's use 3 for pi. So 24 equals, we know pi, so we replace it with 3. We don't know radius. So we want to get radius, so we use a little bit of algebra and isolate the radius squared. Get it by itself. We know we want r, we have r squared, so we get the square root. So radius equals, now we need to simplify this. We know 8 is 4 times 2, and we know that the square root of 4 is 2. So this is 2, but 2 is not a perfect square, so we keep this 2. And this is units, because this area is units squared, and pi is pi. Okay? So those are basic formulas that you need. I'm going to put this in your notes so that you can study those formulas. These are things that you need to know.